Good evening. Welcome to the first Loyola TV News Bulletin, read by Clement Mwanza. The headlines. The Forum for the Energy Sector says Zambia must not normalize load shedding. The Road Development Agency says the Kazungula Bridge, which is at 99% completion, is expected to be commissioned next month, October. People across the spectrum are mourning the death of a giant pond fish at one of the country's largest public universities, the Copperbelt University CBU. Zimbabwe has banned mining in all its national parks, reversing a decision to let Chinese firms explore for coal at its famous Wangwe Game Park. And now the news in detail. The Forum for the Energy Sector says Zambia must not normalize load shedding. Energy Forum Chairperson Johnston Chikwanda says solutions to load shedding need to be found immediately because it is extremely harmful to the economy. Mr. Chikwanda was speaking in an interview with Loyola News in Lusaka today.
So a combination of the Kafiwe Gorge power plant and some solar projects that have been launched is completely going to eliminate the current deficit that we have. However, that does not mean that Zambia is out of the energy poverty crisis, because about 70% of the households are still not connected to the national grid. We have the electrification rate of about 30%, which is still quite very, very low. So meaning we still have to continue to invest in power generation capacity.
Meanwhile, ZESCO Limited says the ongoing diversification on energy source projects will reduce load shedding by the end of September. ZESCO spokesperson Henry Kapata has told Loyola News that Lusaka, Southern and Copperbelt are the most heat provinces.
So we started from 15 hours load management. Now we are between 10 and 12 because there is a plan we call whiteboard plan. This is a plan where we are looking at how many projects are coming on board, looking at the weather-induced power deficit, so that at the time we are closing this year, when all these projects come on board, load management should be able to be reduced. By September, we should be talking about load shedding somewhere between 4, 8, and 10 hours, somewhere around there, because we are already putting up plans to make sure that we fight the deficit, which is currently at 810 megawatts.
Long queues at the Kazungula border post have been a permanent feature for cross-border traders ferrying goods across the Zambezi River. But with the construction of the 923-meter Kazungula Bridge across the mighty Zambezi on the Zambia-Botswana border, traders will have a different story to tell. And the Road Development Agency says the bridge, which is at 99% completion, is expected to be commissioned next month, October. Mr. Masuzo Ndlovu, the Communications and Corporate Affairs Director, says the transit time, which currently takes 3 days, will drastically be reduced to hours.
Well, I should say that the Kazungula Bridge is near completion. The Kazungula Bridge is divided into 3 packages. We have what is known as Package 1, which is the main bridge. The main bridge is 923 meters long and 18.5 meters wide. It also has a provision of a railway line, which we are calling an embedded railway line. And apart from that, there is also what is known as the one-stop border post on the Botswana side, that is Package 2. And then Package 3 is the one-stop border facility on the Zambian side. And so for the main bridge, we have now done about 99% physical progress. There's just a few outstanding works here and there, but then it should be ready for commissioning anytime.
The Kazungula Bridge is a one-stop border facility which was started in 2014. The estimated cost for the construction of the bridge is $259 million, with Zambia contributing $134 million and Botswana contributing $124 million. The National Union of Teachers is impressed with last term school attendance levels by pupils in examination classes. Some pupils missed some classes when schools reopened on June 1st out of fear of contracting the COVID-19. Elena Piri has the details in the report.
In its ongoing review of the coronavirus situation in the country under the new normal, government in May announced that primary and secondary schools reopen for pupils in examination classes only. Some pupils decided to stay away from school for fear of contracting the disease.
Most of our learners are attending classes as opposed to the earlier days when the term just opened. We used to have a limited number of pupils reporting because most of them were scared to go back to school.
Zambia National Union of Teachers says it is happy with the compliance levels in implementing COVID-19 preventive measures by schools in Lusaka.
All the schools are adhering. Our pupils in the classes, all of them are putting on the masks. And also we have our pupils who have been put in rooms which are specially allocated, so to say. And then we have also put in our schools buckets almost on each and every entrance into the classroom.
New Avondale Academy is not taking any chance with the disease, but put in place facilities to ensure strict adherence to the COVID-19 preventive measures as advised by the Ministry of Health.
We are trying to implement all the measures of the new normal. Kids are not allowed to come to school without a mask, and they all know that they have to make sure they have hand sanitizer. The first thing they do when they get into the school, they make sure they have their temperature checked and they have to wash their hands. We have the school bus. The children are 3 on each seat. That means there's almost a meter apart. And then even in the classes, we're using 2 classes. The children still have to keep a meter.
For now, no one knows when pupils in non-examination classes will reopen as the pandemic keeps evolving, but one can only hope for the best. Elena Piri, Loyola News in Lusaka.
President Edgar Lungu says the introduction of the Farmer Input Support Program, FISIP, is meant to assist farmers access farming inputs on time. President Lungu says the problem of late delivery of farming inputs should never arise because all mechanisms are in place through the support program. He was speaking in Chisamba today when he launched the distribution exercise of farming inputs for the 2020 to 2021 farming season. President Lungu emphasized that he will not allow delays for farmers to access the inputs. He said this is why there was early distribution of farming inputs last farming season, resulting into improved targeting of beneficiaries. The president said as a result, the country recorded a bumper harvest. He assured that the Food Reserve Agency, FRA, will be given enough money to buy crops from the farmers. Zambia may be in no mood to tolerate any more of its currency losing value, but the hard-hit kwacha depreciation will be hard-pressed to prevent. The rapid depreciation of the kwacha has crushed the cost of doing business and subsequently affected the cost of living. Economic expert Chibamba Kanyama says the kwacha's continued loss of value against major convertible currencies, which is trading at 20 kwacha per $1 as of today, is worrying.
We're not very sure what is contributing to this. And it's coming at the time when the copper price is marginally increasing on the global market. So we are thinking that the kwacha will begin to kind of stabilize and come down in value. Increase in value, appreciate slightly. But some of the contributing factors, we're getting into the agricultural season now, and government has been importing quite much, fertilizers and other inputs. So they have had to go to the market to import. Number 2, I believe that there's also importation of crude oil for Indeni, and that also has had an impact on the price of the dollar. And thirdly, there has been some negative sentiment on Bank of Zambia issues. So the market is still waiting for policy direction about what happens next before they can begin to commit their money into the economy. So there is less supply of the dollar as a result. High demand, less supply of the dollar. And the impact is very obvious that the price levels is going to go up. I worry a lot for manufacturing companies.
The 2021 national budget, which is to be unveiled on the 25th of this month, has attracted a lot of anticipation, especially with the country's economy on its knees. Civil Society for Poverty Reduction has urged government to scale up its efforts in trying to cushion the escalating living standards and the cost in the 2021 national budget. In an interview with Loyola News, CSPR Resource Governance and National Coordinator Chimukana Shibinga says the organization expects to see a lot of resources directed into the social sectors. Mr. Nashibinga says the social protection sector has the potential to contribute to economic growth and also uplift the living standards of the people.
I think we are expecting that at this particular point in time, government would actually lessen the tax burden when it comes to citizens so that they can be able to have a disposable income to demand for more goods and services, and by so doing stimulating the economy in one way or the other. When it comes to the pieces of legislation, we are also anticipating that at this particular point in time, I think we'll see the Loans and Guarantees Act going through so that the Parliament is actually given mandate to oversee all the loans that have been contracted, and also to actually check how they are being used so that we can actually advance the idea of budget credibility.
Meanwhile, Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection says government must focus more of the national budget on the manufacturing sector in order to create jobs. JCDR Programs Manager Innocent Dashe says government needs to put in place measures that will create employment and attract investments.
Other minerals, I think we need to take that opportunity to have many sources of income that will help us even to invest adequately in agriculture, manufacturing. You are talking of education, access to water and sanitation, the health sector that is currently limping.
We take our first break, and coming up, the Medical Association of Zambia says COVID-19 must not be associated with grading of citizens in two categories of social status. The Democratic Party has conveyed a congratulatory message to Loyola Television as the media organization commemorates its first anniversary. People across the spectrum are mourning the death of a pond fish at one of the country's biggest public universities. Stay tuned.
Habib, where do you think you're going?
Stay out of my way. I'm going to play football with my friends, and there's nothing you can...
Silence! You think this is funny, eh? You can get the deadly coronavirus.
The gorilla virus?
No, the coronavirus. Do you know what will happen when you do? Do you?
Huh? What will happen?
You will bring the coronavirus home and then infect everyone. Mommy will be sick, no more jollof rice.
Huh?
Daddy will be sick, no more going out to see movies.
Oh no! Not the movies, no!
Even worse, the government will come and take Mommy and Daddy away.
You're just making it up.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
See for yourself.
Okay, it's real. It's real. What should we do?
The coronavirus is out there. We should stay at home for now. Always wash our hands with soap and water so we can prevent it from spreading.
Boo! Stay home, stay safe. From all of us at Anthill Studios.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. Democratic Party leader Harry Kalaba has conveyed a congratulatory message to Loyola Television as the media organization commemorates its first anniversary. Mr. Kalaba has described Loyola Television as an encompassing media house which features guests from all sectors regardless of political inclinations. He was speaking in Lusaka.
First of all, I want to congratulate Loyola TV for making it in reaching 1 year of their existence. It's not easy. And I'm happy to say that in the last 1 year that they've been existing, Loyola TV has made a difference in the media industry. I have been on Loyola TV myself, and it is homely, and the news and just the way you do things in Loyola TV is really encompassing, and that is the kind of media we are looking forward to having. And therefore, I am happy that you're celebrating 1 year of your existence. I can only wish you many, many more years ahead. And you can count on me as an individual, as Harry Kalaba, but also on the Democratic Party to ensure that it becomes easy for you as you operate in this industry of yours.
Meanwhile, Mr. Kalaba has urged members of the public who think COVID-19 is hoax to change their views as the disease is deadly. The United Party for National Development, UPND, says the media in Zambia must strive to be independent by providing equal and fair coverage to all political and non-political players. Hakainde Hichilema has also called for a media self-regulatory framework. The opposition leader says the media are transmitters of information and must avoid being newsmakers. Meanwhile, Mr. Hichilema says no one has a right to instigate violence regardless of their political party affiliation. He was speaking to Loyola News in Lusaka.
Public media, public meaning state-owned, does not mean you are an arm of a ruling party. We saw this under UNIP. We see it today. It's not correct. Let's have a fair and balanced media coverage for all. The private media stations, some of them are trying very hard. We encourage them to remain fair. I want to urge the people of Zambia, all of us, the people of Zambia, that as we compete for political office, as we compete in the elections, we should not misinterpret that to mean we have to physically fight.
It has been emphasized that every citizen has a role to play in combating the coronavirus pandemic. The Medical Association of Zambia President Samson Chisele says COVID-19 must not be associated with grading of citizens in two categories that can contract it or not. Dr. Chisele has told Loyola News that once members of the public strictly adhere to preventive measures as prescribed by the Ministry of Health, the country will see a drop in the number of new infections.
So I think that going forward, as an association, our call really is for the public, individual members of the public, to ensure that we take care of ourselves. If a leader I know or some other person is not masking up, that should not be the reason why I don't mask up as an individual, because when I get sick, I get sick. COVID-19 is not a sort of disease that selects the economic status or importance of a particular individual. All of us are affected, poor, the rich, the middle class. All of us are affected, and so the public must take personal interest in ensuring that we comply with these COVID-19 measures.
Traders in Lusaka say they are facing difficulties in selling their merchandise because customers fear of contracting COVID-19. Details in the following report.
COVID-19 pandemic has been a drawback to Zambians as it has adversely affected most sectors of the economy. Fruit traders in Lusaka have not been spared. Their main complaint is that most customers are shunning from buying their fruits. Some of these traders have traveled as far as Kasama in the northern province to come and ply their merchandise in Lusaka. The traders are of the view that assistance is given to them in terms of loans so that they can diversify their modes of businesses.
Ndedishanya kubuteko pamulandu na kolona yi ponene mchalo pamulandu na business na kwata yakuwaya waya so nebo wido shakwata mwa kusungila abana
for business ya kushitisha ama fruits ukuwaya waya nomba abantu tabaleshita pamulandu na matenda yatukosela nomba mwe buteko tulefa mtu afirishe kwa abana kuma skulu na bale kokuya abana bale ikala pamayanda tatwishi befo twala ikala mu kwikashibweso.
Currently, Zambia is experiencing a surge in coronavirus cases, probably due to the court season, and it is not known when the pandemic will ease for business operations to return to full capacity. Louisiana Lupumbwe, Loyola News in Lusaka.
The Association for Metal Recycling fears that most scrap metal businesses will close down due to economical hiccups. Secretary General of the Zambia Metal Recycling Association says companies dealing in scrap metal have been badly affected because of non-exports. This is because of COVID-19 pandemic, which has resulted in two border restrictions. Edgar Hawusonko says scrap metal business has completely slowed down in the first, second, and last quarter of the year.
Scrap metal industry has equally suffered because of the pandemic, which is ongoing. As you know, there are issues of social distancing, which we cannot avoid. There are also industries that are near closing because of the pandemic that is going on. And further, you realize that for scrap to be generated, you need the industry to be running. So most of the metal industries have closed down or almost closing down. As a result, there is very little that is being generated. The only scrap that can probably be scavenged are those that have been thrown away or redundant metals.
And the association president, Jimmy Luo, says there have been abnormal deficits in the scrap metal dealing business.
It has fared terribly. You can't believe it, because like the end users, like Universal Mining, their target quantity which they need per month is about 900,000 tons for them to operate their machines. In the past 2 quarters, monthly, they have been getting between 2,000 to 4,000 with a deficit of 5,000 tons in terms of the scrap metal. And when you look at the other big giant in the melting industry, Good Time Steel, their target is about 6,000 tons, 600,000 tons per month. They have so far been buying 2,000 to 2,500 with a deficit of 3,500.
People across the spectrum are mourning the death of a giant pond fish at one of the country's biggest public universities, the Copperbelt University CBU. The fish, affectionately known as mafishi, has been mourned by President Edgar Lungu, former and current CBU students. The word mafishi has been trending on social media sites such as Facebook and Twitter in Zambia following the fish's death on Monday night. The fish lived in the university's pond, and students would pay homage to it before examinations for good luck, while other students considered it a stress reliever. President Lungu quoted Mahatma Gandhi while mourning the fish, writing that the greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. Higher Education Minister Brian Mushimba also mourned the fish, stating rest in peace, and that he was glad that the fish had been given a special send-off by the CBU students community. University students lit candles and marched around the premises on Monday night to mourn mafishi. The fish was part of the university's aquaculture initiative and is said to have been in the pond for not less than 7 years. Legend has it that mafishi was a symbol of good luck during examinations, and many CBU students would visit the fish as it would help them pass their examinations. Students say they are fearful for life without mafishi and are hoping they can find a successor. We take our second break, and still to come with the news. A special court in Sierra Leone has rejected a bid by convicted former Liberian President Charles Taylor to be moved from a British prison citing coronavirus risk. Actress Lupita Nyong'o writes a moving tribute to her Black Panther co-star Chadwick Boseman. And Football Association of Zambia announces relief funds to be distributed to affiliated member clubs. Stay with us.
Habib, where do you think you're going?
Stay out of my way. I'm going to play football with my friends, and there's nothing you can't...
Silence! You think this is funny, eh? You can get the deadly coronavirus.
The gorilla virus?
No, the coronavirus. Do you know what will happen when you do? Do you?
Huh, what will happen?
You will bring the coronavirus home and then infect everyone. Mommy will be sick, no more jollof rice.
Huh?
Daddy will be sick, no more going out to see movies.
Oh no, not the movies, no!
Even worse, the government will come and take Mommy and Daddy away.
You're just making it up.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
See for yourself.
It's okay. It's real. It's real. What should we do?
The coronavirus is out there. We should stay at home for now. Always wash our hands with soap and water so we can prevent it from spreading.
Boo! Stay home, stay safe from all of us at Anthill Studios.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. Zimbabwe has banned mining in all its national parks, reversing a decision to let Chinese firms explore for coal at its famous Hwange Game Park. The move came after campaigners instituted court action against the government to prevent ecological degradation in parks. 2 Chinese-owned firms had been given a license to explore for coal in Hwange National Park. It is famous for its elephants and the endangered black rhino. The Zimbabwe Environmental Lawyers Association warned that the park would turn into a site for drilling, land clearance, road building and geological surveys if coal exploration went ahead. Information Minister Monica Mutsvangwa later, following a cabinet meeting, announced the ban on mining with immediate effect. This is despite the fact that China is a major investor in Zimbabwe and a close ally of President Emmerson Mnangagwa's government. A special court in Sierra Leone has rejected a bid by convicted former Liberian President Charles Taylor to be moved from a British prison, citing coronavirus risk. Taylor had said the coronavirus pandemic in the UK was a big threat to his life and wanted to be moved to a safe third country. The residential special court for Sierra Leone said he had not specified which countries he considered safe. The court added that the World Health Organization had not declared any countries safe from COVID-19. Taylor was sentenced to 50 years in prison by a UN-backed crimes court at The Hague. He was found guilty of aiding and abetting rebels in Sierra Leone during the 1991 to 2002 civil war. Actress Lupita Nyong'o has written a moving tribute to her Black Panther co-star Chadwick Boseman, terming his death as a punch to the gut. Chadwick died on 29 August, aged 43, after battling colon cancer for 4 years. Lupita wrote on Instagram, "I write these words from a place of hopelessness to honor a man who had great hope. I'm struggling to think and speak about my friend Chadwick Boseman in the past tense. It doesn't make sense." She recalled the experience of working with Chadwick in the Marvel superhero film. She said he showed up to every rehearsal, training and shoot with his game face on. Lupita posted a photo of her laughing with Chadwick on Instagram. Amnesty International has urged Mozambican government to launch an independent investigation into allegations of torture linked to operations of its security forces in the gas-rich northern province of Cabo Delgado. The non-government organization said it had verified gruesome footage and photos from the region showing crimes against detainees. The materials show the attempted beheading, torture, and other ill treatment of prisoners. It added that the materials also show the dismemberment of alleged opposition fighters, possible extrajudicial executions, and the transport and discarding of large number of corpses into apparent mass graves. Amnesty says the perpetrators of the atrocities in the videos are seen wearing the uniforms of the Mozambique Armed Defense Forces and the Mozambique Rapid Intervention Police. The perpetrators refer to their captives as Al-Shabaab in reference to a common local name for the Islamist armed group operating in Cabo Delgado. In recent weeks, there has been an increase in violence in northern Mozambique, where militants have been attacking security forces and civilians. In sports news, the 2020-2021 Football League is set to resume next month on the 17th, and Football Association of Zambia General Secretary Adrian Kashala has announced that relief funds that were recently released by FIFA are soon to be distributed to affiliated clubs. Mr. Kashala says funds are aimed at providing relief to clubs whose income has been affected by the coronavirus pandemic. He was speaking in an interview with Loyola News in Lusaka.
FIFA pledged COVID relief fund, and it's just something that will mitigate the situation that we have. It's not coming to sort out our financial problems. Yeah, so going forward, we are preparing to start the 2020-2021 soccer season in October. To end the news, a look at the main stories once more.
The Forum for the Energy Sector says Zambia must not normalize load shedding. Energy Forum chairperson Johnston Chikwanda says solutions to load shedding need to be found immediately because it is extremely harmful to the economy. Long queues at the Kazungula border post have been a permanent feature for cross-border traders ferrying goods across the Zambezi River. But with the construction of a 923-meter Kazungula bridge across the mighty Zambezi on the Zambia-Botswana border, traders will have a different story to tell. The Road Development Agency says the bridge, which is at 99% completion, is expected to be complete and commissioned next month, October. People across the spectrum are mourning the death of a giant pond fish at one of the country's biggest public universities, the Copperbelt University CBU. The fish, affectionately known as Mafishi, has been mourned by President Edgar Lungu, former and current students of CBU. The fish lived in the university's pond, and students would pay homage to it before exams for good luck. Other students considered it as a stress reliever. Zimbabwe has banned mining in all its national parks, reversing a decision to let Chinese firms explore for coal at its famous Hwange Game Park. The move came after campaigners instituted court action against the government to prevent ecological degradation in parks. 2 Chinese-owned firms had been given a license to explore for coal at Hwange Game Park. On that note, we have come to the end of the news. On behalf of the entire production and news crew, my name is Clement Mwanza. Good night.